Then there's an issue of recent fire in Joburg. Can it not arise in Cape Town, in the tents there? It's a little bit of a long story, but I'll try to explain it in 5 minutes. You are aware that the people who are in those tents in Cape Town are people who invaded the Central Methodist Church in Cape Town and lived there for several months. And traders went to court to say that is disturbing their business. And the judge, I still remember, the presiding judge was Judge Tulare, who was then an acting judge as a magistrate. He's a full judge now. He's the one who made the stinging judgment against those people and said they must be moved, and Home Affairs must process them in order to determine their status, which work we did very well, and found that 85% of them actually have got documents. They've got the right to be in South Africa, but they don't have the right to be in that church anyway. Only 15% had no documents, and we started the process of demanding that they register for documents. Immediately after that, because the judge said they must move, instead of moving from the church to communities where they came from, they went to the central police station and surrounded it. While police were still deciding on what to do, COVID struck. And everybody who doesn't stay in a house or who has got no home to go to, you'll remember that they were moved from the streets. It didn't matter about your nationality. All people were moved to the streets, and we put tents all over. That was for COVID. And those tents were put for COVID and nothing else. But when COVID was announced, when it was announced that the state of disaster is no longer there, COVID is gone, they refused to move out. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees took over the problem together with the International Office on Migration. They gave them 3 offers. Number one, that they reintegrate back in the communities where they came from. And when they do so, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees will pay for their accommodation for at least a period of 3 months while they are still settling. And number two, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, will also buy them groceries and give them food and support them for 3 months while they are settling in. And number three, that the International Office on Migration will buy those who want to go back home, will buy them tickets. And out of 1,600, about half of that took one of these offers. The rest refused because they said they want to go to Canada. I know in the media they are trying to deny that. Yes, they want to go to Canada. And we know why people are prepared to stake their lives in order to go to Canada. We know as a fact it's because in Canada there is a province called Quebec where it is French speaking, where the province is French speaking. And we know 85% of those people who are there in those tents are from DRC, where they speak French. And secondly, when the colonizers colonized Canada, they moved indigenous people away, and most of them were moved into Quebec. The Canadian government, in changing what they've done as colonizers, they've given very huge social benefit in Quebec. If you stay there as a foreign national or as a person who is regarded as indigent, you get huge social benefits. And that's what people are targeting for. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees wrote no less than 3 letters to inform them that what you are demanding cannot be done because it doesn't exist internationally. If you are in one country as a refugee, you want to go to the other, it's called a third country of resettlement. You apply, and there are rules under United Nations, and the rules are that country must go and register itself with United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. and say, I'm available as a third country for resettlement. Any person who wants to come must apply to me. In January 2020, I went to Paris. I met the Deputy Minister of Immigration and Citizenship in Canada. I discussed this matter with her. She said, no ways. Nobody is going to come to my country because they are protesting in your country. Anybody who wants to come must apply as individuals, not even as a group. This information was given to them, and they kept on protesting. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees then sent ministers of religion. And I think that group, if I'm not mistaken, included Archbishop Thabo Makgoba. It also included Reverend Nissen, who was working for the South African Human Rights Commission, to inform them that what you are asking for, even the United Nations can't give it to you because it doesn't exist. They were assaulted. And I'm sure this is a matter of record. They were assaulted. Now, as I'm talking here in front of you, we need to evict them. But unfortunately, as Home Affairs, we are not landlords. The landlord is the Department of Public Works and the Cape Town Metro. And I must state here publicly that the Cape Town Metro is not cooperating with this issue. When you discuss with them, they tell you it's a Home Affairs problem. So we need to evict those people. But to evict them legally, we need eviction papers. And eviction papers are applied for. And we have asked the city many times, please apply for eviction because you own the land, not us. Because if we apply for eviction and we go to court, the courts will question us about jurisdiction. So those who are interested on this matter, this is exactly what has happened. The communities, they are very unhappy. I won't be surprised if anything wrong happens there in terms of fires and all that. And what is more, they even destroyed the facilities that were there, ablution facilities, in order for us to look very bad. They even stopped their kids from going to school. And last week I was asking South African Human Rights Commission, this is against human rights for any parent to stop their child from going to school just to get sympathy and blame the South African government. And I demanded that the South African Human Rights Commission must act. They know about this problem, that there are kids who are sitting there who are going to school, many of them who were at school before, but they were deregistered in order to put up that protest. So we're still calling for the Cape Town Metro to apply for eviction orders. We are begging them because on our own there's nothing we can do. Unfortunately, this whole thing is taking us away from what we came here for. But I understand when media didn't come in the morning, I was saying maybe we should have announced that we're going to announce a big scandal. But when you talk development, people don't like it. Like these questions. We're talking here of a huge development for the economy of the country. And somebody chooses to ask about something that he believes is a scandal, xenophobia, undocumented and all that. I don't think this is fair for a country. I think South Africans must wake up and become South Africans and start appreciating what is being done for the country. Thank you very much.